You got to show up every day, because if you're going to believe in that possibility, you got to believe in yourself. And if you got to believe in yourself, you got to believe in possibility, and your belief in yourself must be earned, right? You got to show up, right? So one of the consistent things that happen with a lot of these people that cross the river of change is some of them do their meditations for a year, for 8 months, for 13 months, for 2 years. All along, they're changing. All along, they notice that the more they change, the less pain they have. They're sleeping better through the night. They can eat more than 10 foods. They have more energy.
Less reactive. Yeah.
They're starting to notice that something's changing. And then in time, they start to notice that their body starts to change, right? And that's all they need. Because the moment they notice something changing, they're going to pay attention to what they're doing, and they're going to do it again. But now their belief is going to be amplified because they're noticing it. So now they're more intentional. Now they're more present. Now they're assigning meaning to the act a little bit more. And many people will say, I just knew, in this one meditation, I just knew I was going to be okay. Like, really? I just knew it. Like, I just knew. But don't forget, they're showing up every day for 8 months or 13 months or a year or 2 years. They're not missing a day, because if they missed a day, then they wouldn't believe that they're the creator of their life. So according to the language specialist, the person who has that big gamma moment, their description of the experience is the number one thing that they speak about is what they felt. In fact, I've had people on the stage describe their experience, and they're weeping, and there's the most incredible experience of their life. And I'm like, will you please tell the audience? Oh yeah, I was blind, now I can see. Yeah, like the upgrade wasn't as profound as the experience that they had. Like, wow. And so,
what is that feeling that they have when they feel healed?
So it's a great question. So the language specialists have divided it into 2 categories. One is very somatic, like every single cell in my body was filled with light. It was like my heart exploded like an engine, like energy shot down my fingertips like a lightning bolt. The top of my head blew off. It's very somatic, wow. Right? It's very somatic. It felt like this, but they're using metaphors. It's not like that. The other element is very emotional. Like they say, I never felt love like that in my life. I forgot how that I'm connected. I forgot that there's a divine intelligence in me. I feel more bliss, more ecstasy. I feel more grateful for life. It's very emotional, but they'll say, no, but that's not it. It's not like any feeling that I've ever had before, right? So remember, the end product of an experience is an emotion. So their inward experience that they're having is so transcendental, and it's coming with an emotion, and the emotion tends to be less chemical. Tends to be more electric. It feels like it's like a profound level of energy. Stronger the emotion you feel, and that's happening, the more you're going to remember what's going on between your ears, right? The people who cross the river of change that take time, when they pop up and they see a new landscape, when they see a future and they know it, they become less obsessed and worried or desperate about what their future looks like. Even sometimes if they're, and we just had someone on the stage the other day, even when they were getting worse, they were like, I know I'm going to be okay. Like, I'm just going to keep doing this. I know I'm going to be okay. And they just kept showing up. And then all of a sudden their values started to change, and that next thing starts to change. And they just, and many of them say, I just got to this point where I just liked myself so much. I was so grateful for everything that I'm learning. I really could care less if I have the disease, and that's the moment it goes away, right? Because they're no longer identifying with it any longer. That's the moment where they're free, right? So they've changed so much that they're happy, and they're no longer identifying with themselves as that personality any longer. And so many people will say, God, I would have never become this person if I didn't have that disease. Wow. I would have never become wealthy if I didn't have to spend that time in jail or go bankrupt. I would never be this guy. I'm so happy. I'm so happy all of that happened. It was all purposeful good for me to become this person, right? So So that
It's a level of appreciation for everything in the past.
exactly.
Not a level of resentment and
Exactly.
anger and frustration and
many people will say, "Oh my God, like the disease, it exists in that person. I'm not that person. I'm someone else." And there's a sense of temporality that we see in the language as well. The language says,
Gosh.
like, I'm here as this person, and I'm not the same person. It hasn't been the same person. I've been changing all along, and that was somebody else. The disease exists in that unhappy person.
It's interesting because you talked about in the beginning that every want we have comes from a feeling of separateness or lack.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But it's almost like what you're describing right now is people are now separate from their old person that had the behaviors, the attitude, the values.
Completely different person.
Now they're separate from the person that was living in lack, suffering, disease. They're not identifying as that person anymore.
Exactly, exactly. That's exactly what it is. They've put in their time to break down that unlearning of that 95%. They had to stop thinking one way and start thinking another way. That's not easy, especially if you're hardwired to think a certain way. You gotta come up against yourself. They have to stop acting one way and start acting another way. Stop doing certain things, start doing other things. Stop feeling one way, start feeling another way. They got to break the habit of their old self and reinvent a new self. And the 95% is the overcoming process.